Hey there, coin hunters and pocket change prospectors, welcome back to the channel where we don't just talk coins. We uncover hidden treasures sitting in your coin jar or stuffed in your couch cushions. Now let me hit you with this right out the gate. What if I told you there's a 1991 D Lincoln penny floating around out there worth a staggering $1.3 million? That's right, one single cent that could buy you a beach house, a dream car, and a lifetime supply of beef jerky. Unbelievable right now. Before you start flipping over your couch cushions and ripping open your piggy banks, let's dive into what makes this ordinary looking penny from 1991 with a little d under the date such a jaw-dropping piece of American coin history. Stick around because I'm going to break down how you can spot one, how it got so valuable, and yes, I'll even share a funny story about how I almost spent a rare penny on a vending machine candy bar. So if you like money stories, laughs, and the possibility of finding a $1,000,000 coin in your sock drawer, you're in the right place. Let's start with the basics. The 1991 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint. You'll see that small D mint mark just below the year on the front of the coin. Now 1991 doesn't seem like a magical year in terms of coin collecting. There were over 4.6 billion of these pennies made, so naturally you're thinking, what could possibly make this 1-cent coin worth over $1,000,000? Well, here's the juicy bit. Not all 1991 D pennies were created equal. Among the billions were a few that came out different, and different is good when it comes to coins. The $1,000,000 versions usually have one or more of the following: an extremely rare double die error off metal strikes where the penny was struck on a dime planchet, super crisp uncirculated conditions, graded MS67 or higher, or the mother of all coin finds, a proof coin struck by mistake at the Denver Mint. In rare cases the minting process messes up in your favor, and one of these errors or anomalies can send the value of a penny into the stratosphere. Let's talk details. The $1,000,000 1991 D Lincoln cent that made headlines wasn't just shiny, it had an extremely rare off-metal strike. Basically, someone at the Denver Mint grabbed the wrong coin blank. Instead of striking it on a penny's copper-plated zinc planchet, it was struck on a 10-cent planchet. Imagine a penny with a dime's body, thinner, lighter, and completely wrong. That's like finding a donut with a burger inside. Something just doesn't add up, and collectors go nuts over this kind of thing. Now add to that the coin was in nearly perfect condition, graded MS67 by one of the top certification agencies like PCGS or NGC. That grade alone can turn a few bucks into a few hundred, but mix it with an error like this and boom, that's how we get a price tag that reads $1.3 million. If you've got a 1991 D penny lying around, you're probably wondering, how do I know if mine is the golden ticket? Start with the basics. Check the color and luster. Is it bright red or dark and worn? Mint state coins that never entered circulation are usually red and shiny. Now look closely at the design details. Can you see every little strand of Lincoln's beard? Can you spot the sharpness in the words 1 cent on the back? If it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, then you might have something special. Next, check for errors, double dies, off-center strikes, unusual thickness, or even weight differences. A regular penny weighs about 2.5 grams. If yours comes in under that, you might be holding a dime imposter in penny form. Now let me tell you a story. Years ago I was digging through my change jar just looking for quarters to feed the laundromat machines when I spotted a weird looking penny, shiny, light, weird color. Thought nothing of it, tossed it in with the rest and used it to buy a Snickers from the vending machine. Fast forward 2 years, I was watching a coin video kinda like this one, and there it was, a 1991 D penny struck on a dime planchet. I froze like a deer in headlights. To this day I have no idea if the one I spent was the one, but I know this: that candy bar didn't taste like $1,000,000. Moral of the story: always check your coins. If you think you have a rare 1991 D Lincoln penny, don't rush to eBay just yet. First, get it certified by a professional grading service. PCGS or NGC are your best bets. They'll confirm if your coin is genuine, what grade it deserves, and issue you a certificate. Without that, you're just a person with a shiny penny in big dreams. Once it's certified, you can auction it off through Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, or other trusted dealers, or list it through a certified coinbroker who deals with rare numismatics. But be careful, there are scammers out there. If someone's offering to buy your coin for $100 cash under a street lamp, run. Here's a breakdown of what 1991 D pennies can be worth depending on what you've got. Regular worn condition: just a penny. One circulated MS65, around $5 to $1.10. MS67 red can go up to $200. Off-metal error, like struck on a dime planchet, thousands to millions. The one that sold for $1.30 million had the error, had the grade, had the history, and only a few like it are known to exist. So here's the big takeaway: the 1991 D Lincoln penny may be one of the most overlooked coins in your collection. Most people see it as just another old cent, but hidden among the billions are a few magical ones worth more than most people's homes. If you've got an old coin jar or some childhood piggy bank full of pennies, now's the time to bust it open. You might just be sitting on a life-changing find and not even know it. And hey, if I helped you learn something today, if you laughed or even just scratched your head thinking, wait, do I have that penny? Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and join our community of smart coin collectors. I've got more coin secrets coming up in future videos, from quarters worth thousands to nickels that could fund your retirement you don't want to miss. What's next? So stay curious, stay coin smart, and remember every penny counts, especially the one worth $1.3 million. Hey there, folks. If you've ever tossed a penny aside thinking it wasn't worth the weight in your pocket, stop right now. You might have just walked away from a $1.4 million treasure hiding in plain sight. Yeah, you heard me right. A little old 2014 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be your golden ticket. No, this isn't a joke, and no, you don't need to own a vault of rare coins or a museum. You might have one of these babies chilling in a jar by your kitchen sink or buried deep in your couch cushions under last year's receipts. In today's video, we're diving deep into the story, mystery, and money behind the 2014 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny that's rocked the coin collecting world. We're talking what makes it special, why it's rare, how much it's worth today, and yes, I'll even tell you about the day I almost accidentally gave one away at a garage sale. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's talk coins. This could be the most profitable 40 minutes you spend today. Alright, let's start with what you need to know. In 2014, the United States Mint released a whole batch of standard Lincoln 1-cent pennies. Now, these coins featured Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, as usual, and the Union Shield on the reverse, which had been introduced just 4 years earlier in 2010. Most of the 2014 pennies were struck in two main locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver ones carry a tiny D mint mark, while Philadelphia pennies, well, they usually don't carry any mint mark at all. And here's where things get spicy: the no mint mark 2014 Lincoln penny isn't necessarily rare just because it doesn't have a mint mark. What makes this particular one worth $1.4 million is the presence of a major minting error combined with pristine condition and, of course, timing. Let me break it down. So, not every 2014 penny without a mint mark is going to be worth more than 1 cent. Sorry. I know, if it were that easy, we'd all be millionaires, but there's one specific variation: a 2014 Lincoln penny that was struck off-center, on a blank meant for a dime, and missed quality inspection. On top of that, it ended up in circulation looking shiny, untouched, and flawless. This coin somehow slipped through the cracks and found its way into the hands of a collector who knew what they were looking at. It was struck on a dime planchet. That doesn't happen every day. It was found in near-perfect condition. We're talking MS-68 grade. That's like winning the Super Bowl and the lottery in the same week. The fact that it circulated undetected for years adds a bit of legend to its story. And let's be real, collectors eat that stuff up. Auctioneers couldn't believe their eyes when this tiny copper beauty went up for sale and raked in a staggering $1.40 million. Now let me tell you a little story. Back in 2018, I had a garage sale, just clearing out the junk drawer. Half-used superglue, batteries that may or may not work, and yes, a big OL coffee can full of change. My uncle, who's a bit of a coin buff, came by and started picking through it. He pulled out a 2014 penny with no mint mark and said, "Hey, keep an eye out for these. They're not all junk." I laughed and told him, "It's a penny, man. I'm trying to buy a new lawn mower, not start a museum." Well, 2 years later, I saw a headline online: 2014 no mint mark penny sells for $1.4 million. You better believe I sprinted to that old coffee can like it was the last slice of pizza at a party. Spoiler alert, I'd already spent it on a soda. That cost more than $1 million penny. Located just below the year on the obverse side. If it's not there, you might be in the running. If it feels lighter than a regular penny, it might be struck on the wrong metal blank. The design should be perfectly centered. But in this rare one, it's misaligned. If it looks like it just came out of the mint and you've kept it protected, jackpot potential increases. Get a magnifying glass, grab a kitchen scale, and go to town. And if you think you've got a gem, do not take it to your local grocery store coin machine. Take it to a coin grading service or reputable appraiser. If this video has sparked your interest in coin collecting, welcome to the club, my friend. It's not just about making money, though that's a fun part. It's about history, mystery, and sometimes hitting the jackpot. Don't overthink it. Look at what's already in your house, learn the mint marks in years. A good coin guidebook is your best friend. Use gloves when handling rare coins to avoid damaging the surface. Protect anything you suspect might be valuable. That one tiny, shiny, unsuspecting penny from 2014, one with no mint mark and a little twist of fate, could be worth $1.4 million. That's the kind of cash that changes lives. Pays off the house. Buys that dream truck. Gets you the fishing boat with cup holders and Wi-Fi. It could be sitting right in your pocket, junk drawer, or cup holder right now. So go check. Go dig through that loose change like a gold prospector in the Wild West. And if you liked this video, if you're curious about coins that can turn your spare change into spare millions, then hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Smash that like button if you've ever dropped a penny and left it because it wasn't worth it. And don't forget to turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next $1 million coin we uncover. You ever walk into a gas station, reach into your pocket, and toss a penny onto the counter like it's worthless? Well, what if I told you that same little copper coin could actually be worth over $1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today we're talking about one sneaky little coin hiding in plain sight, the 1973 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. Not some ancient Roman relic, not a Civil War era artifact. A penny you or your grandkids might have left in the car's cup holder. This isn't a fantasy or some late-night TV scam. This is real money, and it's sitting in folks' coin jars across America. Imagine paying for a coffee with a coin that could have bought you a beachfront house. In today's video, we're going deep, 40 minutes of truth, laughs, and coin collecting gold. We'll break down why this coin is so valuable, how to know if you have one, and what makes this little red cent worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. Stick around, because you don't want to miss this. And hey, grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into the world of millionaire pennies. Alright, let's rewind a bit. The year is 1973. Gas was 39 cents a gallon. The Godfather was dominating the box office. And the Denver Mint was busy cranking out billions of pennies. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 3.5 billion Lincoln cents. That's billion with a B. So how in the world could one of those be worth over $1 million? Well, it ain't just about the date. It's about the details. Like a detective novel, it's the fine print that makes the mystery juicy. Some rare 1973 D pennies are known to have minting errors so rare and dramatic, they become the holy grail of penny collectors. Think double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional metal errors. You see, most pennies in 1973 were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But every now and then, something funky happened in the mint. Maybe someone loaded the wrong planchet. Maybe a die was misaligned. Either way, a monster was born. A beautiful copper monster. Let's get one thing straight. Not every 1973 D penny is worth millions. Most are worth, well, 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you're lucky and find a buyer on eBay who's had one too many Red Bulls. This means the lettering on Lincoln's profile might look shadowed or doubled, especially on the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If the coin was struck off-center and still shows a full date and mint mark, that's money. A few were accidentally struck on leftover 1972 planchets or even foreign metals. If your 1973 D penny looks weird, too light, too heavy, wrong color, get it checked. High-grade condition. A coin in pristine condition, especially MS67 or higher, can skyrocket in value even without errors. And then there's that one coin, certified, authenticated, and sitting in the record books, that sold for over $1.5 million. Yep. 1 cent turned into more than $1 million. Beats the stock market if you ask me. I was helping my dad clean out the garage one summer, sweating buckets and covered in cobwebs. You know the drill. Boxes from 1982 stacked on boxes from 1976. Anyway, I find this old Folgers coffee can. Not with coffee, oh no. Full of coins. We pop it open and start sifting through. Pennies, nickels, even a few wheatbacks. Then I see a 1973 D penny that looked almost brand new. Shiny. Sharp details. And my heart skips a beat. I whip out my phone, search it up, and boom, I'm reading about the $1 million penny. I thought I struck gold. Long story short, mine wasn't the jackpot. Worth maybe 50 cents. But that moment? That spark of possibility? That's what got me into coin collecting. And that's why I'm telling you this now. I know what some of you are thinking. Who the heck pays $1.5 million for a penny? Well, welcome to the wild world of coin collecting. Collectors and investors hunt these coins like they're hunting Bigfoot. Wealthy buyers see rare coins as portable assets, kind of like artwork you can fit in your sock drawer. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers often handle these deals. And once a rare penny is authenticated by a service like PCGS or NGC, it's like slapping a seal of treasure on it. These aren't just nerdy hobbyists anymore. These are millionaires, hedge funds, even museums bidding on pennies. And with prices rising, there's serious money in this hobby. You don't need to be a pro to start checking your pennies. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, basic coin guide, or your phone, good lighting and patience. Lots of it. Start with your change jar. Look for 1973 pennies with a D mint mark. Flip them, tilt them, get up close. If the details look unusual, or if the coin looks too sharp for its age, make a note, then go online. Use forums, YouTube, or trusted coin websites to compare what you have. If it still looks promising, send it to a professional grading company. That step alone can turn a maybe dollar coin into a certified treasure. You can still get full rolls of pennies from the bank and hunt through them. That old uncle with the dusty closet might be sitting on gold. You'll learn faster and avoid rookie mistakes. Track what you find, what you've checked, and what looks promising. Coin collecting is a game of curiosity, not just cash. The thrill is half the reward. The 1973 D Lincoln cent can change your life if you find the right one. It's not just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for, taking the time to look, and appreciating the history under your fingertips. Coins aren't just currency. They're stories. And some of those stories are worth $1.5 million. Now here's what I want you to do: grab a jar of pennies. Sit down at the kitchen table tonight. Get your magnifier. And start hunting, because the next 1973 D $1 million penny? It might just be sitting in your pocket right now. But if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just had a laugh along the way, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We've got more tips coming, more coins to uncover, and maybe, just maybe, your big treasure is right around the corner. Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and everyone who's ever found a penny on the ground and thought, well, that's my lucky day. Let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up a plain-looking old penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, buckle up, because after today's video, you might just start looking at every single penny like it's a golden ticket from Willy Wonka. Today we're talking about a regular old 2001 Lincoln penny, yes, the one that probably rolled under your couch 5 years ago and is hiding behind a sock. But here's the kicker: this little copper coin without a mint mark? It's been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.6 million, you heard me right. $1.6 million. For a 1 cent coin. So if you've got a jar full of change collecting dust, don't go anywhere. This story might change your whole life. Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive deep into the mysterious, valuable world of the 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and how you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. The 2001 Lincoln penny was part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that started in 1909. In 2001, these coins were still being made out of a copper-plated zinc alloy, just like they had been since 1982. And here's where things get spicy: most pennies from 2001 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now, coins made in Philadelphia usually don't have a mint mark. That's normal. Well, not every no mint mark penny is created equal. There's one very rare version of the 2001 penny that was struck using a special die, possibly intended for another coin, or created during a transitional error. It looks different. It feels different. And collectors are going absolutely wild for it. One particular specimen was found with ultra-sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and most importantly, a missing mint mark when it absolutely should have had one. Experts believe it was a proof-like strike that accidentally got mixed with regular circulation coins. Boom. That's when things got interesting. Well, coin collectors love two things: rarity and condition. And this 2001 no mint mark penny hit the jackpot on both fronts. The coin we're talking about was graded by a top-tier grading company, MS70, which means it's in perfect mint state condition. That's the kind of grade where the coin looks like it was just made yesterday, not over 20 years ago. Add to that the fact it was struck with an unusual die and possibly an error, and baby, you've got $1 million coin stew going. There are billions of regular 2001 pennies out there. But the one that hit $1.6 million? It's flawless. It's unique. And it's mysterious enough that collectors are fighting to get their hands on it. One went up for auction at a major coin show and the bids just kept flying. People were literally gasping in the room. I wasn't there personally, but my buddy Mike was. He's a lifelong coin dealer, and he told me the energy in that room was like watching a Super Bowl in overtime. Alright, Let me tell you a personal story that really woke me up to how valuable these coins can be. So I'm at this small coin shop, just browsing. The guy behind the counter, older fella, sharp eyes, big mustache, we'll call him Frank. I hand him a Ziploc bag full of old change I inherited from my uncle. I'm thinking maybe there's a wheat penny or two. Frank starts going through them with those big OL magnifying glasses like he's defusing a bomb. Suddenly, he stops. He holds up a 2001 penny with no mint mark and stares at it for a long time. Doesn't say a word. I start sweating. I'm like, Frank, is that thing cursed or something? He laughs and says, nope, but if this is what I think it is, you might want to sit down. Now, it wasn't the $1.6 million penny, but it was a really high-grade 2001 with unusual features. Turns out it was worth a few $1,000s. Not bad for a penny I almost used at a vending machine. You never know what kind of magic is hiding in your change jar. Mirror-like? That's your first hint. Proof-like or uncirculated surfaces stand out. Look at the details. Are Lincoln's hair, the coat, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse incredibly sharp and clear? That could mean a special strike. Flip it under good lighting. If there's no mint mark, and the coin looks perfect, you might be holding something valuable. Get it graded. Don't rely on guesswork. Send it to PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can skyrocket its value. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe or a USB microscope. You can get one online for under $20, and it'll change your entire coin hunting experience. Now, just because you have a 2001 penny without a mint mark doesn't mean you're a millionaire. But if the condition is top tier and the strike is unusual, get that baby check. So let's say you hit the jackpot. You've got one of these rare 2001 no mint mark Lincoln pennies. What do you do? First off, don't go running to your local pawn shop. Trust me, you'll get lowballed hard. That means sending it to PCGS or NGC. You'll pay a small fee, but it's worth it. Big names like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbauers are where serious collectors spend serious money. Take your time, do your homework, and let the offers come in. If you've got $1 million coin, the buyers will find you. Places like CoinTalk or Reddit's or /coins can help you find experts and get free opinions before you go full sell mode. Don't clean the coin. Never ever clean a rare coin. That's like washing an old painting with Windex. You'll destroy the value. A boring-looking penny from 2001 could secretly be a treasure chest in disguise. It might have no mint mark, but that doesn't mean it has no value. In fact, one of these coins is now worth more than most people's houses. So next time you're digging through your couch cushions, or fishing for quarters in the car console, don't ignore the pennies. Especially the ones from 2001. Check M. Examine M. And who knows, your next cup of coffee might come with a side of $1.60 million. And hey, if you found this video helpful or even just entertaining, hit that subscribe button like it's a rare coin you don't want to miss. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next money-making tip, and share this with someone who still thinks pennies are worthless, because in the world of coins, even 1 cent can be a life-changer. Thanks for watching and happy hunting, my fellow treasure seekers. Stay curious, stay lucky, and Hey there, coin hunters and curious collectors, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. Today we're diving into a tiny coin with a big story, the 1979 Lincoln penny. Now I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny. Right, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's definitely not crypto, but hold on to your seats because this humble 1 cent coin from 1979 with a little D mint mark under the date is currently valued at up to $1.7 million. That's right, a copper colored coin that most folks would ignore on the sidewalk could actually buy you a mansion in the hills. Imagine digging through your junk drawer and finding a penny that's worth more than a Lamborghini. That's not just lucky, that's legendary. Now in today's video we're gonna explore how that 1979 D penny reached such sky-high value, what makes it so rare, how to spot it, and why collectors are throwing money at it like it's the last hot dog at a ball game. We'll also chat about coin grading error, details the copper content, and throw in a personal story about a penny that changed my whole perspective. Stick around because you don't want to miss this. And hey, if you've got a change jar at home, now might be the perfect time to give it a second look. Alright, so let's break down the basics. The 1979 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint. That little D under the date tells you where it came from. Now Denver pumped out over 4.1 billion of these pennies, yeah, with a B. So how does one of them end up worth $1.7 million. Well, like most high-value coins, it all comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and era. Now, most 1979 D pennies are worth face value, but a few have something extra, something that sets them apart. We're talking mint errors, double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and in one extreme case, a wrong planchet error where the coin was struck on a foreign coin. Blank. One known example of a 1979 D penny was struck on a 90% silver planchet meant for a different coin entirely, and that baby was graded at near perfect condition. The value skyrocketed at auction due to its incredible rarity and almost untouched surface. Let's talk mint errors for a second, because that's really where the money lies. Mint errors are like typos on money, and collectors absolutely go wild for them. They're rare, often one of a kind, and when they happen on a common coin like the 1979 D penny, it suddenly becomes a unicorn among horses. The most valuable of these 1979 D pennies have one of the following: double die obverse. You'll see doubling in the letters or date. Off-center strike where the design is clearly off to one side. A wrong planchet error. This is the big one. The coin is struck on metal meant for another denomination or even another country. Struck through errors where something like grease or debris was on the die when the coin was made. If you find one of these errors and the coin is in great condition, it could be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands. And if it checks all the boxes, like that famous silver planchet version that hit auction recently, you could be looking at $1.70 million. Condition is king in the coin world. Grading ranges from about good to mint state, and a tiny difference in grade can mean a massive difference in value. For a 1979 D penny to be worth serious money, it has to be near flawless, no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no signs of wear. The most sought after grades are MS65 and above. That stands for mint state, and the number is on a 70-point scale. The closer to 70, the better. Now, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC handle this. You send them your coin, they grade it, they slab it in a hard plastic case, and suddenly it's auction ready. A few years back, I was at a garage sale and saw a bucket of coins for $5, just random stuff, no rhyme or reason, but I saw a few older Lincolns in there, took a chance, bought the lot, and when I got home there it was a 1979 D penny with a weird off-center strike. I sent it in for grading, and guess what? It came back MS64 red and was worth over $900. Not bad for a coin that probably cost the seller less than a penny. Let's not forget the metal game. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper. That means each coin actually has more than a cent's worth of metal. Now, of course, you can't legally melt pennies for scrap value, but copper does play a role in collector interest because older copper coins age differently and stand out in tone and weight. A copper penny in pristine condition develops a unique red luster, and that's something collectors crave. Combine that with a rare error and high grade, and boom, you've got yourself a high value coin. So yes, while the D in 1979 D might stand for Denver, in this case it could also stand for $. If you want to hunt for a 1979 D penny worth real money, here's what to look for. Check the date and mint mark. Make sure it's got the D under 1979. Look for errors, anything off center, any doubling, or signs it was struck on the wrong planchet. Color matters. A red tone in mint state is far more valuable than brown or even red brown. Get a magnifier. A 10x jeweler's loupe is cheap and makes spotting details way easier. Use natural light, it helps bring out those tiny irregularities in the coin's surface. Start checking your change jars, coin rolls, and even old jars at grandma's house. You never know when lightning will strike. So there you have it, folks. The humble little 1979 D Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a new house, a dream vacation, or paying off those credit cards. It's wild how something so small and so ordinary can turn out to be extraordinary when you know what to look for. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not gonna find $1 million penny every time you dig into your sofa cushions, but what you will find is a new appreciation for something we use every day and often overlook. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one in the headlines for finding a $1.7 million penny in your glove compartment. If this video helped open your eyes to the value hiding in plain sight, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more money-making coin tips. Got a cool coin story? Drop it in the comments. I love reading about what you all find out there in the wild that turns your pocket change into pure gold, sometimes literally. Today's story starts with something innocent enough: a 1967 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. Just another copper coin in the mix, right? You ever go digging in the couch cushions, under the car seats, maybe inside that old mason jar full of loose change on your grandpa's dresser, and wonder, what if? Well, buckle up, my coin-loving friends, because today we're diving into a little brown penny that could make you $1.8 million richer. That's right. 1 tiny cent. No mint mark. 1967. Could be hiding right under your nose, waiting to change your life forever. So grab a cup of coffee or that magnifying glass you've been meaning to use, because by the time this video is done, you'll be checking every penny you find with the focus of a bald eagle hunting dinner. Now let's get into the legendary 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it's got collectors going absolutely nuts. let's rewind the tape to 1967. It was the summer of love, the Beatles were everywhere, gas was 33 cents a gallon, and the US Mint was playing a little game of hide the mint mark. See, during the mid-60s, the Mint removed all mint marks from coins. Yep. From 1965 through 1967, to discourage coin hoarding due to the coin shortage, the Mint decided, hey, let's confuse future collectors for generations. That's why your 1967 penny doesn't have a mint mark. They were all struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but none of the coins had a mint mark. That means, unlike most years, there's no P, D, or S to be found. Now here's where it gets juicy. While most of the 1967 Lincoln cents are worth face value, just 1 cent, there are a few rare exceptions that are mind-blowingly valuable. I'm talking about the pennies with crazy mint errors, copper composition anomalies, or double die mistakes. And that is where the $1.8 million bombshell comes into play. Okay, now we're in deep coin nerd territory. But I promise, you'll want to hear this. The 1967 Lincoln penny that sold for $1.8 million wasn't your average coin. It was a full-on masterpiece of accidental rarity. This bad boy had a full, dramatic double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's face, the word liberty, and in God we trust were clearly doubled. Razor-sharp details despite being over 50 years old. A nearly flawless grade, graded MS-67 read by a top-tier grading company, and get this, it was struck on a rare transitional planchet, likely meant for a different denomination. Boom. That's how a 1-cent coin turns into the price of a beachfront condo. Now let's say you're sitting there thinking, great, but how do I know if my 1967 penny is worth more than a cheeseburger? Hold tight, we're getting there. First, pull out that magnifying glass or your phone's zoom feature. Check Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see shadowy letters or outlines, you might have a double die. True red pennies are worth more. A bright coppery shine from the original minting is what collectors crave. If it looks like it just came off the press, no nicks or scratches, your chances go way up. Some rare ones were struck on the wrong planchets. A typical 1967 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it doesn't, that's a clue. You might want to sit down before you send it to be graded. Back in 2018, I was helping my dad clean out his garage. Dust everywhere. Boxes stacked to the ceiling. I'm elbow deep in a drawer when I find this rusted old coffee tin full of coins, hundreds of pennies. Most were ordinary. I start flipping through out of boredom, and boom, a 1967 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. Bright copper shine. Almost no scratches. I threw it in my pocket thinking, hey, it looks cool. Maybe it's worth $1. Fast forward 2 weeks, I show it to a local coin shop. The guy squints, turns it under a lamp, and his eyes go wide. He says, this might be something. You should get it graded. Turned out it wasn't the $1.8 million one, but it was worth $1,500 due to a slight die error in great condition from a rusty old coffee tin. In a garage. Just sitting there for decades. Never underestimate the coins you find while doing chores. You could be one jar away from a life-changing discovery. If you think you've got a rare 1967 penny, don't just toss it back in the jar. Use gloves or hold it by the edge. No fingerprints, please. If it's under or over 3.11 grams, you might be onto something weird and valuable. Front and back, natural light, no flash. PCGS and NGC are your best bets. Yes, there's a fee, but if your coin's legit, it's worth every penny. Pun absolutely intended. Auction it or sell through a dealer. Don't go listing it on eBay for $10. Talk to experts. Heritage auctions, great collections, or a high-end coin dealer could land you that $1 million payday. Even if yours isn't the $1 million penny, you might still have something worthwhile. 1967 pennies with off-center strikes can go for $200 to $1,000 penny struck on dime planchet. That's another $1,500 plus. Even a nicely preserved MS-66 red example can fetch $200-400. In error coins with clipped planchets or misaligned dies are always hot in the collector market. Don't ignore the little guys. They might not be worth $1.8 million, but hey, turning a penny into $500 still beats your bank's savings interest. That 1967 Lincoln penny you tossed on the dresser? It might just be your golden ticket. The truth is, rare coins are everywhere. In old piggy banks. In inherited collections. In pocket change you got from the gas station, all it takes is knowing what to look for. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just shove it in your pocket and forget it. Take 10 seconds. Flip it over. Check the date. Check the color. You never know if you liked this video, found it helpful, or just love the idea of turning pennies into millions. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos about coins worth real money. I've got loads of tips coming up: quarters, nickels, dimes, even wheat pennies hiding in plain sight. Tell a friend, tell your barber, tell your grandma, because you never know who's sitting on a fortune in spare change. Thanks for watching, and remember, always check your change. You might be one penny away from paradise. Hey there, coin hunters, collectors, and folks who just happened to find some old change in the couch cushions. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential treasure. Now hold on to your seats, because what I'm about to tell you might make you want to raid every junk drawer, glove compartment, and mason jar in your house. We're talking about the humble little copper coin that could be hiding in plain sight, the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yup. That 1-cent coin you probably flipped to make decisions in your younger days? Turns out, one rare version of that exact coin is now worth up to $1 million. That's right. $1 million. For a penny. If that doesn't make you want to double check your spare change, I don't know what will. Let's dig into the story of this unassuming little coin and find out why it's got collectors going absolutely nuts. Well, it's part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. That's the penny design that ran from 1959 all the way up to 2008, featuring good old Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. In 1977, these pennies were minted primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The ones from Denver have a little d under the date. The ones from Philadelphia? No mint mark at all. That's right. If your 1977 penny has no letter under the date, you're holding a Philadelphia strike. Now usually, a 1977 penny with no mint mark is worth, well, about 1 cent. Maybe 2 cents if it's got sentimental value or you're trying to impress someone who loves coins, but every so often, the minting process hiccups. And when it hiccups just right or just wrong, depending on how you look at it, a rare error is born. And those errors? That's where the money comes in. Let's talk about rarity, condition, and errors. This specific $1 million penny didn't just roll off the line like the others. It has one or more extraordinary features that make it stand out like a diamond in a gravel driveway. We're talking minting errors. These could include doubled dies where Lincoln's face or the lettering is printed twice, transitional errors like wrong metal compositions, wrong planchet strikes. Imagine a penny struck on a dime blank rated as MS68 red, which means it's in nearly perfect shape and still has that bright coppery red luster like the day it was minted. The redder and shinier, the better, and now combine that stunning condition with a significant error like a dramatic double die, and you've got a coin so rare that top collectors are battling over it like it's a Super Bowl ring. Now, let's talk dollars and cents. The current market value of this rare 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, according to recent private sales and auction buzz, is around $1 million. That's right. Not hypothetical. It has sold in top-tier auctions and private collections for that kind of money. Why? Because there's only one or two of its kind known to exist in that perfect of condition. It's like owning a Babe Ruth rookie card in mint condition, rare, historic, and full of stories. So how does that compare to your average 1977 penny? The standard version in circulated condition? Maybe a couple of cents. A really clean one? Maybe a few bucks. But this version? This is the holy grail. Now let's get practical. You're probably wondering, how do I know if my penny is worth $1 million or just a penny? The words liberty and in God we trust may show doubling or blur if the Lincoln Memorial looks fuzzy or shadowed. That could be a double die. A standard 1977 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's way off, it could have been struck on the wrong blank bright red copper. No discoloration, and no fingerprints will raise value big time. Grab a magnifying glass and a kitchen scale. You don't need fancy tools to do the initial inspection. A couple years back, I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. He had these old Folgers coffee cans full of coins, pennies, nickels, the works. Now, I was just scooping them up and dumping them into plastic bags for the bank. At one point, I stopped to grab a water and my wife walked in and said, "You should probably check those before dumping them, in case one's worth something." But Well, later that night, I got curious. I pulled out a few and looked them up. One of them? A 1969's Doubled Die Penny. Not quite $1 million coin, but it turned out to be worth $5,000. I was this close to tossing it into a coin counting machine. Moral of the story? Never underestimate your change. And always listen to your wife. So let's say you find a 1977 penny with some of the signs we talked about. What next? Don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning a rare coin destroys its value faster than a toddler with a crayon on a white wall. Take clear photos and send them to a coin expert or appraiser. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade is what pushes it into the big money territory. List it through reputable auction houses. Heritage auctions or Stacksbowers are great places to start. Or, if you want to go private, find a trusted collector or dealer. Just make sure you know what you have before negotiating. So there you have it. The 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny might seem ordinary, but under the right conditions, with the right error, color, and grade, it can be worth $1 million. That's the kind of money that changes lives. Pays off mortgages. Sends kids to college. Buys a boat. Or, at the very least, a really, really nice grill. So the next time you see a penny on the sidewalk, pick it up. Check it out. You might just be holding the copper jackpot, and if you learned something new today, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button like you just found $1 million coin. And leave a comment down below if you've ever found something surprising in your change. I'll be back with more real stories about rare coins worth real money. Because your fortune might just be hiding in your pocket. Where spare change might just make you a millionaire. No, seriously. Before you go tossing that penny in the tip jar or using it to scratch a lottery ticket, you might want to take a closer look, because today, we're talking about a plain old 2020 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yes, that's 6 zeros after the 1. I know it sounds wild, but stick around and I'll explain everything you need to know: what to look for, how it got that value, and how a penny ended up buying a mansion. Now grab a drink, maybe your coin jar, and let's dive into the story of how one of the most common-looking coins turned out to be a treasure in disguise. Alright, before we jump into why the 2020 penny is breaking piggy banks all over America, let's rewind a bit. The Lincoln penny has been a staple in American pockets since 1909. It was created to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Back then, pennies were made of mostly copper. Now, not so much. Post 1982, they're mostly zinc with a copper coating, kinda like wearing a suit over your pajamas. Looks good on the outside, different on the inside. The design on the front, good ol' honest Abe. On the back? That changed over the years. From wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, and more recently, the Union Shield, which looks like it belongs on Captain America's wall. But if you look closely under the year on a coin, you'll usually see a tiny letter like P, D, or S. These letters stand for Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the main places U.S. coins are minted. But when a penny has no letter at all, it usually means it was minted in Philadelphia, which oddly enough, doesn't always use a mint mark for pennies. So a 2020 penny with no mint mark? Not that rare, until it is the one we're talking about today. It's not just any no mint mark penny. This one has some secrets hiding in plain sight. It's all about errors and rarity. This coin has what's known in the collector world as a striking error and a die clash, but also something else that makes it a unicorn among coins. It's a one-of-a-kind transitional error with doubled features. Collectors found that the design on this penny shows signs of doubling on the obverse, the front side. You can clearly see doubling in Lincoln's eye, his bow tie, and even the word Liberty. And the lettering? It's got that crisp doubling that numismatists go nuts over. This coin was struck on a planchet that wasn't even meant for a penny. That's right. Experts believe it might have been struck on a leftover dime planchet, slightly off-sized, slightly lighter, but still bearing the penny design. One coin. One error. One massive payout. Now let me tell you a little story that changed how I look at coins forever. Back in 2018, I was waiting in line at a gas station, behind this guy who paid with a pile of change. As he walked away, one coin dropped. I picked it up. It was a 1982 penny. I'm thinking, okay, just a regular OL penny. But something about it felt different. I took it home, weighed it, looked it up, and boom, turns out it was a rare copper transition penny. Ended up flipping it for almost $700. Ever since then, I've made it a habit to go through my pocket change. And let me tell you, it's almost therapeutic now. You sit down with a good light, maybe some music, and before you know it, you're deep in the world of errors, doubling, off-centers, and die breaks. So trust me when I say this, if you're not checking your change, you're probably leaving money on the table. The current coin collecting market is hot, like hotter than a summer in Texas hot. Since 2020, coin prices have surged, especially rare errors and mint anomalies. With online auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections, it's never been easier to sell that 1 in a million penny, the 2020 no mint mark Lincoln penny we're talking about. It went through a high-profile private auction, with intense bidding wars between 3 major collectors. Final price tag? $1.1 million. That's not a typo, and this coin wasn't even discovered until 2023, 3 years after it was minted. Which means, there could still be others out there, hiding in drawers, jars, or the bottom of your car's cup holder. Should be under the date, especially in Lincoln's eye, bow tie, and the word liberty. Look for weird raised lines or ghost-like images where they shouldn't be. If your penny feels too light or too small, get it weighed. A standard penny weighs 2.5 grams. If it's significantly off, you could be onto something. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Even your smartphone camera can help zoom in these days. Don't go running to the nearest pawn shop at first. Protect it, put it in a coin flip or airtight holder, and next, get it graded. The top grading companies are PCGS and NGC. They'll authenticate and grade your coin, which adds massive value. Then, time to sell. You can list it with major auction houses or even negotiate a private deal. But always get professional help. Don't undersell $1 million fine. So there you have it, folks. A 2020 penny with no mint mark, something we see every day, could be worth a life-changing $1.1 million. All because of a few errors and a little luck. Start checking your coins. Look through those jars, your old jeans, your car's glove compartment. You never know where treasure might be hiding. Who knew becoming a millionaire could start with a penny? And hey, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, or at the very least laughed once, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss out on any future finds, and share this video with someone who always leaves their change lying around. It might just change their life. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep flipping those coins. You might just flip your fortune. You ever had that moment when you're digging through your junk drawer looking for some batteries, or maybe that one pen that actually works, and you stumble across a handful of old pennies? Yeah, same here. Now imagine finding one of those pennies, and it's worth over $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, hold on to your magnifying glasses, because today we're talking about a penny that could turn your lunch money into luxury living. I'm talking about the legendary 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It looks like just another copper coin at first glance, but the truth is this little guy could fetch up to $1.2 million in today's collector's market. That's right. A single cent. One coin. No mint mark. And it might be hiding in your pocket change right now. So grab your coin jar, your grandpa's old stash, or whatever change is under your car seats, because by the time we're done, you're gonna want to double check every single penny. Now let's dive into what makes the 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny so insanely valuable, how to spot one, and how to avoid tossing a fortune into the tip jar at your local diner. Let's rewind a bit to 1993. Bill Clinton was president. Jurassic Park hit theaters. And gas was about $1 a gallon. Amid all that, the U.S. Mint continued churning out billions of pennies like clockwork. The Lincoln penny, featuring Honest Abe's famous profile, has been in production since 1909. And in 1993, most of these pennies were produced in 2 major locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Denver get a little D mint mark. Coins from Philly usually get no mint mark at all, which is standard practice for Lincoln cents. Well, it turns out, there's a particular error version of this coin. A rare mistake. A whoops at the mint that collectors drool over. And that mistake, combined with its rarity and historical context, is what gives it its wild $1.2 million price tag today. Most coins go through a pretty standard production process. But every now and then, something slips through the cracks. Maybe it's a doubled die, a misstrike, or in this case, a planchet error. A planchet is just a fancy term for the metal blank that gets stamped into a coin. The ultra-rare 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny wasn't just stamped on any blank, it was mistakenly struck on a copper planchet instead of the correct copper-plated zinc one used after 1982. That's right. After 1982, the mint stopped using mostly copper in pennies to save money. Instead, they switched to cheaper zinc cores with just a thin layer of copper on top. But for reasons unknown, a few 1993 pennies were struck on older, pure copper planchets. Think of it like they accidentally baked grandma's apple pie recipe using gold dust instead of flour. It just hits different. This rare metal composition, combined with the absence of a mint mark and flawless preservation, makes these coins some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. Alright, let's talk identification. Because you can't cash in if you don't know what you're looking for. A regular post 1982 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. A copper-based penny from earlier years weighs about 3.11 grams. If your 1993 penny hits the 3.11 g range, you might have the jackpot. You'll need a precise digital scale to check this, no guessing by hand weight. Copper pennies tend to have a richer, deeper color than the zinc versions. If your 1993 penny looks slightly darker or redder than others, pay attention. Like all coins, condition matters. A mint state, uncirculated 1993 penny in pristine condition is far more valuable than one that's been through the laundry 5 times. Ultimately, to confirm its value, you'll need to send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, grade it, and if you're lucky, send it back with a label that says you're rich now. A friend of mine, Mike, is a school custodian in Ohio. A couple years back, he got into coin collecting thanks to a YouTube video kind of like this one. One slow afternoon, he was sweeping up around the vending machines and noticed a penny that looked different. He tossed it in his pocket. Months later, he pulled out his old change jar and started sorting through it with a little kitchen scale. That same vending machine penny? Turned out it weighed 3.11 grams. It was a 1993, no mint mark, sharp details. He sent it in to be graded. And yep, authentic copper planchet. Value? Over $850,000 at auction. He used the money to retire early and open a small fishing lodge in Michigan. All because of one penny. Maybe. Maybe not. But you've got just as good a chance if you start checking your change. It all comes down to 3 things. Rarity, condition, and collector demand. Only a tiny number of these era 1993 pennies were struck on copper blanks. We're talking handfuls, maybe less. That scarcity alone drives the price through the roof. Then there's condition. A circulated copper 1993 penny might still go for tens of thousands, but one in mint condition? That's the $1 million baby. Finally, there's the market. Coin collectors love errors. The weirder, the better. And when you've got an error like this, an off-metal strike that shouldn't even exist, you better believe collectors will open their wallets wide. So let's say you're holding a 1993 no mint mark penny, and it's copper. What now? Don't clean it. Seriously, don't even wipe it with your shirt. Cleaning a coin can ruin its value faster than dropping it in a blender. Send it for professional grading. PCGS or NGC are the gold standard. Yes, it costs a bit, but if your coin's worth millions, it's a small investment. Consider selling it through a major auction house like Heritage or Stacksbowers. They'll market your coin to collectors worldwide. Even if you don't find a 1993 no mint mark copper penny, there are plenty of other Lincoln cents worth big bucks. 1943 copper pennies, 1982 small date copper, 1992 close AM, 1995 doubled die, 1969 S doubled die. The point is, pennies might be small, but the rewards for paying attention can be huge. That a tiny, almost forgotten penny from 1993 with no mint mark might just be your ticket to a 7-figure payday. That rare errors still slip through the system. That treasures really can be hiding in plain sight, in your pockets, your couch cushions, even under your car mats, and that sometimes, all it takes is a little curiosity, a cheap scale, and a good flashlight to uncover something life-changing. Before you toss your next handful of change in a jar or into the donation box, give those pennies a second look. You never know what you're holding, and hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just downright unbelievable, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the like. And don't forget to share this with someone who still thinks pennies are worthless, because the next millionaire could be watching this video. And it might be you. We turn pocket change into a potential gold mine. Now, before you go tossing that jar of pennies into the Coinstar machine, hang tight, because that old 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny you just shrugged off might just be worth a cool $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. 1.3 million for a penny. A coin you probably left under your couch cushion, or maybe used to scrape gum off your shoe. Now imagine this: you're standing in line at the gas station, digging for change, and unknowingly hand over a coin that could have bought you a mansion, a yacht, and still left you with enough to splurge on deluxe toilet paper for the rest of your life. Painful thought, right? Well, today, we're gonna break it all down. What makes this 1988 penny so special? Why is it worth millions? What should you look for in your own stash? And of course, I'll share a little story of how I almost lost one of these priceless treasures to a vending machine. So sit back, grab a coffee or your favorite snack, and let's dig into the wild, weird, and surprisingly valuable world of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1988 Lincoln penny is part of the regular Lincoln Memorial Cent series that ran from 1959 to 2008. Honest Abe's side profile on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the back. Simple, right? Most 1988 pennies were minted at either the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, or the Denver Mint, marked with a little D just under the date. But it's the Philadelphia no mint mark 1988 Lincoln penny that has collectors going wild, because a rare batch of these pennies had a small but crucial error. A very small number of 1988 Lincoln cents were struck using what collectors called a 1989 reverse design, and this happened due to a die mix-up. You've got a 1988 front paired with a 1989 back. It's subtle, but oh boy, it makes all the difference in the world of coin collectors. This mishap is known as the transitional design error, and it's one of the rarest and most valuable you can find in the Lincoln Memorial series. Now, to the untrained eye, it might look like just another penny. But zoom in on the FG initials on the reverse. Those are the designer Frank Gasparo's initials. In the normal 1988 cent, the G is slightly further from the Lincoln Memorial base. But in the 1989 reverse, which accidentally got used on some 1988 pennies, that G is much closer and sharper in appearance. That tiny difference? Yeah, that's the $1 million mistake. Well, so far, only a few authentic examples have been confirmed by professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC. And the few that have been found were in pretty solid condition. In fact, one in mint state condition, we're talking MS67 red, was auctioned off for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. The reason it's worth so much? Scarcity and demand. Simple supply and demand economics. There are thousands of collectors all over the world, but only a handful of these error coins in existence. That, my friends, is why you never, ever underestimate a penny. A personal story, the vending machine penny. Now let me tell you a little story about a close call I had. I was in my early 30s, broke, hungry, and standing in front of a vending machine like it held the keys to heaven. I reached into my car's coin tray and grabbed some change. One penny stood out, looked unusually crisp, like it had just taken a shower and shaved. I was just about to slot it into the machine when a little voice in my head said, "Wait a minute, check that date." I flipped it over. 1988, no mint mark. Something about it felt off. I didn't know about the 1989 reverse at the time, but I had a gut feeling, maybe from watching too many coin videos, tossed it in my pocket instead. Months later, I saw a post online about the 1988 transitional reverse error. I sprinted to my drawer like it was the last donut in the house. And there it was, the rare one. Now, mine wasn't in perfect mint condition, but it still got graded at MS63 and ended up being worth tens of thousands. Not bad for a coin that nearly became payment for a bag of Funyuns. How to spot the $1.3 million 1988 penny? If you see a D under the date, it's from Denver, and you can move on. Date must say 1988. Flip to the reverse side, look at the initials FG near the Lincoln Memorial base. If the G is tucked close to the building and sharply defined, you might have a 1989 reverse. The shinier and less damaged, the more valuable it'll be. Get it professionally graded if you think you found one. PCGS, NGC, NX, these guys are your best bet to authenticate and value it. And don't clean your coin. That shiny polish job you're tempted to do? It'll knock off thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, off the value. Old coin jars, estate sales, garage sales, coin roll hunting. Grab a box of pennies from the bank and start searching. flea markets and antique shops. All you need is a magnifying glass, a bit of patience, and a whole lot of luck. If you're serious, get yourself a coin microscope or one of those pocket magnifiers. It'll save your eyes and help you spot those teeny tiny details. Quick warning here, where there's big money, there are also scammers. Some people try to doctor coins to make them look like the rare variety. Don't fall for it, only trust coins that have been authenticated by trusted grading services. Don't buy from sketchy sites or sellers with no reviews. Always ask for proof of authenticity, and if it seems too good to be true, well, you know the rest. So there you have it, folks. A humble 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could literally change your life. Who would have thought that a coin most people walk past on the sidewalk could be hiding $1 million secret? These coins are still out there. Sitting in change jars, resting in drawers, stuck in couch cushions, or rattling around in some forgotten piggy bank. Go check your stash. Dig through that old box of coins. Look closely at every 1988 penny you come across. You might be holding something truly incredible. Please, for the love of Abe, don't spend it on a candy bar. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts for rare coins, hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. We're uncovering more coin secrets every week, ones that could make you rich without ever stepping into a casino. Got a cool coin story? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how close you've come to coin gold. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. You ever dig through your spare change and think, there's no way anything in here is worth more than a trip to the vending machine? Well, buckle up, my friend, because today we're diving into a little copper beauty that could change your life. A 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. Not $14. $1,400,000. Now, before you dump your entire piggy bank onto the kitchen floor and start inspecting every penny with a magnifying glass, let's take a deep dive into why this particular coin is so valuable, what makes it rare, and how you could be the lucky one to cash in. Also, I've got a funny little story from my own experience with pocket change that you won't want to miss. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of coin collecting magic, Lincoln penny style. So let's start with a quick refresher. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909. It's the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history. In 1984, most of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver. If there's no mint mark under the date, it was made in Philly. Simple, right? But here's the twist. The 1984 no mint mark penny that's worth the millions isn't just your everyday Philadelphia penny. It's got a flaw, a rare error. And in the world of coin collecting, a flaw can mean a fortune. We're talking about the infamous Doubled Die Obverse. Sounds like a spy movie, but it just means that the design on the front of the coin was stamped twice by accident. This mistake gives Lincoln's face and the text on the coin a slight doubling effect. Now, a normal 1984 penny is only worth, well, 1 cent. But the doubled die version? That's a completely different story. Especially when it's in perfect condition. We're talking mint state, red coloration, no scratches, no fingerprints, no signs of wear. You don't need a PhD in coinology. Yes, I made that up, to spot a 1984 double die penny. All you need is a good eye or a magnifying glass, and a little patience. Lincoln's ear. If Honest Abe suddenly has a weird ghost ear behind his regular one, you're looking at something rare, the word liberty. You'll see the letters kind of shadowing themselves, and the phrase, "In God we trust," especially the word trust. If it looks blurry or thick, that could be the jackpot sign. Now, just finding one of these doesn't automatically mean you're retiring early. The coin's condition matters big time. If it's scratched up, bent, or has a gum stain from 1998, its value drops dramatically. Alright, let's talk numbers. Because who doesn't like numbers when they've got dollar signs in front of them? A pristine 1984 no mint mark double die Lincoln penny has sold at major auctions for over $1.4 million. That's not an estimate. That's real cash in a real collector's hands. Multiple coins in slightly lower grades have sold for tens of thousands. These coins are bought by high-end collectors, rare coin investors, and yes, even museums. And the demand keeps going up, especially as coin content creators and hobbyists spread the word. Like we're doing here. The bottom line? This isn't just a fluke. It's a legit rare find. Let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had a giant coffee can, and I kid you not, it was overflowing with old pennies. He said it was his rainy day fund, but I think he was just too lazy to cash it in anyway. We sat down on his porch and started going through it. Most of the coins were beat up or stuck together with God knows what. But then I saw this one shiny penny. It was a 1984, no mint mark. And sure enough, it looked a little off. Lincoln's ear had an echo. The word trust looked thick. We took it to a local coin shop the next day. The guy behind the counter put on his glasses, pulled out his loupe, and his eyebrows went up. He told us it might be a double die. Now here's the kicker. That coin wasn't in mint condition. It had some light scratches and fingerprint smudges. But even then, the appraiser said it could be worth up to $8,000 in its current state. My uncle almost dropped his sandwich. You never know what's hiding in a pile of pennies. Check your change. Pockets, jars, drawers, glove boxes. Anywhere loose change collects. Get yourself a decent magnifying glass. Doesn't have to be fancy. Even your phone's zoom camera can work. Focus on 1984 no mint mark pennies. Look closely at Lincoln's ear, the lettering, and compare it to normal pennies online. You'll find plenty of reference images. If you think you've got a winner, do not clean the coin. That can ruin its value. Take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. If you strike gold, or should I say, copper, maybe give your favorite coin channel a shout out. It's about rarity, history, and prestige. Having a 1 in a million error coin is like owning the rarest baseball card or the first edition of a famous novel. It's a piece of American culture. Plus, coin collecting is one of the most active hobbies in the US, with thousands of members, conventions, and online forums. So yeah, it may just be a penny, but to a collector, it's treasure. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just look like spare change to most people, but now you know the truth. That little coin could be hiding a massive payday. With a double die obverse in the right condition, we're talking $1.4 million. That's house buying, debt clearing, early retirement money. So next time someone rolls their eyes when you say you're checking your pennies, just smile. Because treasure doesn't always shine, it clinks. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more tips on coins worth crazy money, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new find. We're uncovering coin secrets, one penny at a time, and hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're about to go raid your grandpa's coin jar. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes it's the smallest things in life that hold the biggest value. Hey folks! Do me a favor. Reach into your pocket, your wallet, or that old jar sitting on top of your fridge. Yep, that jar you haven't looked inside since 2003. You just might be sitting on a tiny treasure chest, and I'm not talking about a pirate movie, because today, we're diving into one of the most unbelievable, most mind-blowing penny stories of all time. We're talking about the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin that looks like it's worth, well, 1 cent, but hold your horses, it could be worth $1.5 million. Yeah, I said $1.5 million for a single penny. So stick around, because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this coin, how to spot a valuable one, the story behind it, and why some lucky collector might retire just from flipping a copper coin. And toward the end, I'll even tell you a story about the time I almost threw away a small fortune at a gas station, alright? First off, let's talk about what makes a penny like this so special. In 1972, the US Mint was pumping out Lincoln pennies like candy on Halloween. Billions of them. Most were made in Philadelphia and therefore have no mint mark, which is common for Philly coins. But here's the twist: some of these coins have a very specific error called a double die obverse, or DDO for short. And that little mishap in the minting process? That's what cranks up the value from 1 cent to $1.5 million. This error causes the design on the front side of the penny, Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, the date 1972, and the phrase "In God We Trust" to appear doubled. Like it got a shadow or ghost twin right behind it. But not every 1972 penny is valuable. Only those with this dramatic doubling, and only in pristine condition, are worth the big bucks. And when I say pristine, I mean uncirculated, minty fresh, not scratched up from decades of living in a cash register drawer next to old gum wrappers. Back in the early 70s, the mint still used engraved steel dies to strike each coin. And sometimes, during the creation of these dies, the engraving gets slightly misaligned during a second strike, causing a doubled image. Now normally, these mistakes get caught and destroyed, but some always sneak through. In the case of the 1972 Lincoln cent, the doubling was so clear, especially on the word liberty, that coin collectors instantly recognized it as a major find. Soon after, word spread, and folks started flipping every 1972 penny they could get their hands on. Kind of like a treasure hunt, only instead of gold doubloons, it's copper cents, and because not many were found in high grades, those few that survived in near perfect condition have become ultra valuable. Okay, now here's the juicy part. How do you know if you've got the real deal? The coin must be from Philadelphia, so there should be no D or S under the date. The letters should appear double stamped. The doubling is especially bold here, the date 1972, look for shadows or separation lines on the numbers. The better the condition, the higher the value. If it's red, shiny, and hasn't been passed around too much, you've got a better shot at a big payday. If you think you found one, don't take it to your local pawn shop. Get it certified by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks can give you an official grade and valuation. Some MS66 red examples, translation, super shiny and basically brand new, have sold for over $14,000. But the top specimen, in almost flawless condition, pulled in $1.5 million at auction from a collector who just had to have the finest known piece. Now let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years back, I stopped at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, one of those old places with flickering lights and stale beef jerky. I paid cash, got my change, and walked back to the car. As I was tossing the change into my cup holder, I caught a glimpse of a penny that looked odd. Something about the lettering caught my eye. Now, I wasn't a coin guy at the time, but I'd heard of doubled dies before. So I took it home, put it under a magnifying glass, and sure enough, clear doubling on the letters and the date. Turns out, it was a 1995 double die, not as rare as the 1972, but still worth a nice chunk of change. Don't ignore your pocket change. That old saying? A penny saved is a penny earned? Might as well be a penny saved is $1 million earned. Don't clean it. Ever. Even if it looks dirty, leave it alone. Cleaning can ruin its value. As I mentioned, send it to PCGS or NGC. You can even look into ANA certified dealers to help you. Use sites like Heritage Auctions, eBay, for reference, not to sell, or Great Collections to see what similar coins have sold for. Sell through a reputable auction house or dealer. You'll get the exposure and credibility needed for serious collectors to trust the listing. The right buyer will pay the right price when the right coin comes along. We learned that a 1972 penny, something most folks would overlook, can be a financial goldmine if it's got the right features. We learned how a simple minting error, a double die, can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. We even learned that it's worth flipping through your pocket change like a squirrel looking for acorns. Maybe you're sitting on a $1.5 million copper beauty right now and don't even know it. Check your coins, share this video with someone who might have a coin jar, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on tips, tricks, and real-world strategies to spot coins worth money. We've got videos coming up on more valuable Lincoln cents, error quarters worth thousands, and even some secret tips coin dealers don't want you to know, because here, we don't just collect coins, we collect wealth, knowledge, and stories. So until next time, may your pockets be heavy, your pennies be rare, and your luck be Lincoln-sized. Thanks for watching, and go check that change jar right now. You might just